Well, welcome to the show. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey, and this is Our View from the Bench. All right, I'm moving on to category 1, which again is still a storm, but not as bad as the last 2 rounds that we've gone through. We're going to move on and see the last few guys here that have signed and the differences they're going to make moving on to this season. First off, we're going to start with is defensive lineman Justin. Oh, I hope I say this name right. I always screw this up. Matabuke?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. I don't know if I'm
Yes.
professional, but that's
All
what I
right.
was going
Well,
with. Yes.
I got it. I got it close, if not anything else. He does re-sign with Baltimore, 4 years, 98, 75 guaranteed. Does help Baltimore keep a little continuity after losing Patrick Queen on the defensive side. What are your thoughts, sir?
I like it. This is the dangerous category. So, although these moves may not seem insane, they're still dangerous. Okay. You don't want to be caught in a category one. It may be, a little bit better than the ones we previously mentioned in the other episodes, but still dangerous. And I think this is a good one, especially like you said, losing Patrick Queen. Having Patrick Queen and I forgot the other linebacker across from him was insane. They were talking about how the Chiefs weren't going to be able to figure out because they're the best two linebackers in the entire league.
That's right.
And well, I mean, obviously we know how that happened. They ended up figuring that out, and they figured out the next team to win the Super Bowl. But this is, you got to keep bringing it back. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the league. I would say top 10, no matter what. And bringing it back again, we're just bringing it down here because it's not, to us, it's not crazy. They're not going for that three-peat like I mentioned with the Chris Jones re-signing. So I like it. I think it's pretty good. 4 years, 98 mil. I mean, there's a couple of linemen that signed for a little bit more than that. 75 guaranteed. That's pretty good. Good for him.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What would you? I'd give this like a B, solid B.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you mentioned how the Chiefs weren't going to be able to figure it out, and they did, obviously, because they won the Super Bowl. But they really didn't. They only scored. They didn't score in the entire second half of that AFC title game. So
Scored
obviously,
enough,
the
but yeah,
defense for the Ravens, But again, yeah, they did enough. But it's not like they scored 35 or 40
true.
points. 21 points in all in the first half, and then once we went to halftime, made adjustments. The Ravens stopped them from there. So
Yep.
maybe they'll be okay overall, but they also did lose their D coordinator, so we'll see how that plays into effect as
Yeah,
well.
it's true. That does suck, man. When you're at the top, dude, that's when people start getting picked off because they want
Mm-hmm.
some of that. Oh, give me some of that. I want some of that.
Yep, exactly.
One of those teams, we're going to stick in that. Let's stay in the AFC North then. One of the category one trades that we saw was Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Denver, getting traded to Cleveland for fifth and sixth round picks in this year's 2024 draft. I mean, I know that Cleveland had one of the best defenses last year, but they already have some pretty good weapons. I mean, they got routed by Houston in the playoffs, but they have Amari Cooper, they got David Njoku, they've got um, Nick Chubb coming back, most likely from that
Mm-hmm.
injury. They have there's another receiver that they have, and now they're adding Jerry Jeudy to the mix. So again, we talked about how the AFC North is going to be extremely competitive. You gotta gear up where you can, and grabbing another weapon for, I guess, a hopeful healthy Deshaun Watson, could be
True.
good, or maybe his backup in Jameis Winston. We're not really bringing that one up, but since we're talking about it, we'll throw that out there too. You like
Yeah.
this trade?
Plus, I mean, you gave up a fifth and sixth rounder for him. It's not like you
What's
gave
that?
up a ton of capital, so who cares? It's worth a shot. It gives them another weapon to work with. Now, Judy hasn't been very good in his career so far. We talked about it the other day when we were prepping how Steve Smith, who was a great wide receiver in his time, talked about how he thinks Jerry Judy is a jag, just a guy. And then he kind of was right. But also in Denver, he's had no real continuity as far as quarterbacks. And then last year with Russell Wilson in and out, and the whole situation with Peyton was weird. And Judy and him obviously didn't see eye to eye on things because, as we talked about before, wide receivers are divas and tend to get upset when they don't get the ball. But upset and like yelling is one thing, but upset, yelling, throwing your helmet down, and really getting into Russell Wilson's face, probably not a good sign that they were even ever on the same page. So I think getting to a new location, sometimes the grass is greener when you get somewhere else, a new set of things, a new offense, a new way of thinking, sometimes brings the best out of people. This could be that opportunity for Judy.
Okay, Antonio Brown, why don't you just take your shirt off and run on the field like this too? Jeez. No, I'm with you. I think it's a great new opportunity. I mean, he freaking went to Alabama. Most Alabama wide receivers turn out to be great. It's the quarterbacks that don't necessarily pan out. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I like the pickup. We'll see where it goes. To your point, though, about grass is greener on the other side, I do think that the change in scenario can help. But my opinion is grass green where you water it, homie. Go run them routes. Go learn it. Go catch the damn ball. Break that tackle. Get
Well,
that first down. Jeez.
where did Amari Cooper go to college? Is it possible he went to Alabama too? Is that something that they could have in
Yeah, he
common? I don't
did.
know where Cooper
He
went.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe that's part of the thinking too. Maybe they get some Alabama guys, and he can get like back in a good spot where he was when he got drafted, and all the high hopes were for him. Maybe that's something they're thinking as well.
Yeah, you know what? I like that. That's a good combo. Yeah. I mean, dude, Alabama breeds talent. So it's not like Jerry Jeudy sucks at football. Like you said, you just got to get him in the right spot.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna keep it with the wide receivers, and this one I like. This one you kind of had to do. He is the only person on the team that I know, and that is even relevant fantasy wise. Wide receiver Michael Pittman signs a 3-year, $70 million new contract or extension with Indy, 46 of it guaranteed. Best receiver they got, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, Anthony Richardson coming back this year healthy and being a young quarterback, you want to have a weapon for him to work with. I know last year he got in camp with him and then got hurt early and Gardner Minshew took over. But again, keeping something there. And then hopefully Taylor will be there the whole season at running back as well. So their offense can get off to a much better start.
Yeah, I like the pick too. I just think he's a game changer for them. I don't think he's a extreme game changer. Again, why he's in the dangerous category 1, but I do think he's a game changer for them. And like you said, Justin Fields didn't have it. They went and got DJ Moore. Anthony Richardson needs somebody to throw to. Just ask Mac Jones.
Yeah, for real.
All right, you gotta tee this one up for me.
All right, Titans did something. All right. Again, we mentioned Derrick Henry in the last episode leaving and going to Baltimore, which we all knew was coming. They do have the young kid, Tajay Spears, I believe, at running back. And now they bring in Tony Pollard, who signs a 3-year, $24 million deal, leaving the Cowboys. And I think this is good. Will Levis is going to have to still get an offensive line built in front of him, but to have 2 running backs that they can kind of combo and have 2 different ways of doing it, Pollard being a much better, I would say, a veteran in the league and having played in Dallas for a few years, I think helps with that as far as getting Tajay Spears more experience on the team. Not that he didn't learn enough from Derrick Henry year before, but again, having a second opportunity, a second option in the running back position, I think is a bonus for the Titans.
Yeah, Tony Pollard wasn't bad. He wasn't the reason why they lost to the Packers. That was the defense and giving up like 70,000 points in one game. So yeah, Tony Pollard is not the problem in Dallas. There's a lot of other problems, but it really starts at the top. I like the pickup, to be honest with you. The years isn't too much, $8 million a year. Not when Josh Jacobs was getting 12. Granted, Josh Jacobs is a little better than Tony Pollard, but I think Tony Pollard's a little underrated. He flew under the radar heavily once Zeke was there. There's a reason why they let Zeke walk, because they knew the talent they had. I don't know. Maybe it was he didn't miss a ton of time, so I'm not quite sure why they let him walk, but who cares? Tennessee's got a new running back, and he's young. Why not? Let's go for it. I like it. I like the pickup.
Well, I think the Cowboys let him go because they forgot free agency was happening, right? They haven't done anything
Oh,
yet.
yeah. No, what are you talking about? They made huge moves, man. They re-signed their long snapper.
Ooh,
that's super important.
Going on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get the ball to the punter and the kicker. Like, come on, dude. That's big. Okay.
You definitely got to get it to the punter after the way they played in that playoffs.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, unless they're just throwing picks, then maybe we'll do that. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, either way, I guess not good in Dallas.
No. All right, somebody who missed the playoffs last year, but barely, man, barely by 1 game. Gardner Minshew was the Colts quarterback after we mentioned previously he took over for an injured Anthony Richardson. He's got a new home. And we kind of, both of us really don't know what to make of it. Not necessarily that we don't know what to make of Gardner, but we don't really know what to make of what the Raiders are doing. Again, in Oakland, but no, in Vegas. I'm sorry. Gardner Minshew, 2 years, $25 million, 15 of it guaranteed to go to the Vegas Raiders. I doubt he's their starter, but he's the best one they've got right now.
Okay, so if you have McConnell coming back, you bring in Minshew, who's a veteran and obviously can fill in and play because he kept Indy in that playoff race all the way till week 18. Mm-hmm. But if they end up trading up and drafting someone, maybe Jaden Daniels, then maybe it's an opportunity for a good quarterback room to kind of 2 young guys, McConnell and whoever they draft, to learn from Minshew, who again isn't the best, but he's been around for a while for a reason, right? He's got to be competent.
Well, he has magic. I mean, it even goes with his name, Minshew Magic.
Magic
so
Minshew.
That.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, yeah, I mean, to your point, he's not necessarily the best quarterback. I'm not like itching to get my quarterbacks to learn from Gardner Minshew, but he's not like a guy you don't want in the room. He's always prepared. because every time he comes in, he seems to throw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no
Mm-hmm.
interceptions and get wins. So he knows what he's doing. It just doesn't seem like he could do it for an entire season, at least from what we've seen, especially what he did in Jacksonville, where I feel like they tried to give him the chance and didn't really pan out. So I think it's good. I'm just super curious to see what their actual final plan is. Again, we got a lot going on. There's only the first 2 days of the tampering period. We have the rest of free agency, the draft.
Still got a draft. Yep.
So there's a lot going on.
But
I'm super curious
also,
to see what they do in Vegas.
let's be honest, Minshew's more of a game manager, maybe slightly above that. And if the Pierce head coaching regime takes over, and now we have Wilkinson on the defensive side with Crosby, and that defense is awesome, maybe Minshew wouldn't be the worst idea because he's not going to do anything stupid or turn the ball over very much and give the Raiders an opportunity to be in most games.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a very good point. He's a playmaker slash because he can make some crazy plays, but he's a very good game manager. That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that.
I think if I remember correctly, he might I don't know for sure, but I think he might be the top throwing quarterback at Wazoo in their history. Like when he was in college, he was actually very good, and I think he's the all-time leading passing quarterback at Wazoo in their school history. I know you're double checking right now.
I'm gonna look right now. Yeah,
I figured you
were. So they say, oh wow, dude, the picture on this article is Minshew in flowy hair running out with a Washington state flag. Oh my gosh, yeah, I think you are right. He puts Gardner Minshew as the 4th best quarterback ever to play there, but I'm trying to see as far as their total
stats overall. Okay, he might just have been one of the best, if not for in their history. But I definitely remember him being a thing because I feel like him and I don't remember who the quarterback for Washington at the time was, but when they had like their Apple Cup, I think is what it's called, when they battle, Minshew had like one of his best games.
Okay, so Gardner Minshew has the 2nd most yards in a season ever at not necessarily career. He's not even top 10 for career.
Okay,
but he has the 2nd most yards in a season. Yeah, almost 5,000 yards in a season, which is crazy in college, bro.
That's a lot.
You don't even play that many games. You play like 12 games. It's not like there's 5,000-yard throwers in the NFL. They play 16 or 17 now.
Wow. I knew he had something kind of like that, but okay. Thanks for double checking.
Yep. Okay, we're going to hit back home a little bit here. We're going to stick in the AFC West, but we're going to move over to the Chargers. We mentioned that they did not re-sign Austin Eckler for a handful of reasons, and you actually made a point as to why this one makes sense. Running back Gus Edwards signs a 2-year, $6.5 million deal. Yeah, that's pretty much nothing. With the Chargers, tell me why this makes sense, man, because I spaced on this part.
Well, he's going from one Harbaugh brother to another. The offensive coordinator for the Chargers now is Greg Roman, who was the offensive coordinator not this past year, but the year or two prior in Baltimore. So Gus Edwards already probably knows the system they're going to run, and he had one of his better years 2 seasons ago under Greg Roman. So I think it's a win-win. And again, it's a cheap little deal for the Chargers. Yeah, they don't have a lot of cap space to work with, and if Eckler leaves, this is a nice replacement.
Yeah, $3 million a year. That's pretty much nothing. Yeah, not when, even players like Tony Pollard, who I think he's better than Gus Edwards, but he's getting almost triple. What Gus Edwards is getting. So I think it's a nice sneaky sign by the Chargers. It kind of, to your point, I think it just helps build the running back room. I don't think he's going to be the main starter. I think they're, to your point, going to try to either get like a complimentary back, or they're going to go with like that 2-back system. Maybe draft Blake Corum, like you said, out of Michigan in the draft. But it's a nice person to have, and he could teach every single running back in the room exactly what they're supposed to do because, like you said, he knows the system already. I think it's a nice one. A little underrated. Underrated. Yeah.
Well, when you look at the amount of money, nobody's probably going to really talk about it that much. So
true. But we are, because we pay attention to the details.
That's what we do here at Our View from the Bench, man.
That's right. Let's move on. We got a couple more before we round out the category 1. Again, this is our dangerous category. These are the signings of the NFL tampering period that we feel are dangerous. Offensive guard Landon Dickerson signs an extension of 4 years, $84 million, 50 of it guaranteed with Philly. Returning back there, again, we talked about it when we mentioned Saquon. That line can do work. Now, granted, they have lost Kelsey, but they, Jason's gone, but the rest of the line was still very good as well. Granted, the captains, but you like this pick? Or not pick, you like this re-sign?
Absolutely. For the same points you made, that offensive line has been one of the best in the league the last 4 or 5 years. Part of the reason they were in a Super Bowl 2 years ago, keeping some continuity because, again, losing Kelsey is going to hurt, but keeping the rest of the line solid makes a lot of sense. And I think I saw a video of him today getting asked about signing his extension and what the first thing he was going to buy was. And I think he said a new lawnmower. So this guy is all about business. He's not a big, frugal guy going out there crazy and trying to be, like getting some grills, but he's there to play football and do his job. I think he's going to be exactly what they need to continue on and continue building with that offense.
I really do like the pickup as well. Saquon's got to be happy too, because
Yeah.
going from where you said you managed to talk about the Giants line being one of the worst. I think Saquon has the 5th most yards from scrimmage since he's been in the league, and he's doing it behind arguably the worst line in the league. So put him
Yeah.
behind a good one. Holy crap! Watch him run.
Don't count him out at. I might have to look at him as a ground player of the year this year. That might be an opportunity for Saquon.
I could see that. Yeah. They got to keep this offense rolling, but if they do and can stay healthy, I can see it. Someone that left, though, we talked about this one when we mentioned C.J. Gardner-Johnson previously. Philly tried to shore it up at the end of the year. They traded for Kevin Byard from Tennessee. They have since moved on. They're letting him walk. He has signed a 2-year, $15 million deal with the Bears, who were actually already pretty decent on defense last year. This kind of adds to their back end a little bit. You like?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to have either Caleb or Justin at quarterback, regardless, next year, you're going to have a good defense to be able to have an opportunity to win a lot of games because you have two guys that one of the two are going to be very young what they're doing. Byard has been in the league, I think 8 or 10 years now at this point, so a veteran experienced backfield definitely helps on the defensive side, and hopefully the Bears can continue to improve on that side as well as the offensive side, but that's a whole nother thing first.
It's crazy to think that the Bears hold like so much with this because like so much can change with the decisions that they've made. And it's crazy because it all started last year. They literally like did it all and it ended up working out so well in their favor that they get the best of both worlds. They have 2 top 10 picks, including the first overall in a generationally extremely talented class of quarterbacks. And other picks as well. I mean, some of the best wide receivers that we know are coming out. They got great offensive linemen. I mean, it's a great pick to have a great draft to have a lot of picks, especially when we're near the top. And Chicago's doing work. I like it.
Yeah, Chicago's got a lot of good things going in the right direction. Hopefully they don't screw it up.
We're going to stick in the backfield, but keep it moving here. Cornerback Carlton Davis has been traded from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Detroit Lions for a 2024 third-round pick. Detroit looks like they're trying to replace what they lost in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, Carlton Davis isn't as good, but he's still decent. You gotta try to cover up where you lost, right?
Absolutely. Like you read my mind. I was going to say this is obviously to replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I'm assuming at a lower cap hit or money space. So again, Detroit has plenty of things to go with. They have a lot of continuity coming back overall on their team. And if Goff and the offense can be healthy and do what they did last year, they should be in a lot of games. So if the defense can just stay pat, if not slightly improve. And again, Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, is coming back. He didn't get a head coaching job. So I think all the continuity there is going to be a good thing for the Lions moving forward.
Yeah, and they already were pretty good, man. I mean, obviously, they were dominating the freaking Niners, and they just decided to fall asleep in the second half.
So, they were 30 minutes from a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, dude, they're literally coming back for vengeance, and I'm hoping they're coming back strong because I was rooting for them last year, especially after all the teams that I wanted were kind of out of it. So,
yeah, straight up.
Speaking of Super Bowl, the Niners are not resting on their laurels and just trying to run it back.
Mm-hmm.
There's talk that Chase Young, they're going to let him walk. I know he's meeting with a handful of teams now, but doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, see, nice. They don't know how important that defensive line is. So they have signed edge rusher Leonard Floyd from the rival Rams, 2 years, $20 million. Kind of like it.
I think it's a great deal. One, you're weakening your division rival and getting some intel on them and how they think about you as an organization or as a team. And two, Floyd, when he's played next to Aaron Donald, I mean, Donald gets all the attention and Floyd has been able to flourish. Well, Bosa's going to take all the attention, which then leads Floyd to have an opportunity to flourish again in San Francisco. So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better, dude. I agree. I think it's weird that the Rams even kind of let him go like that. But they've got other plans, and maybe $10 million was a little too steep for them. They do have a lot of talent, so I understand why
Mm-hmm.
they try to spread the money out as best they can. And they have a lot of draft picks in this draft as well, like we discussed a little bit earlier. So maybe that's what they're banking on. But as far as the
Yeah,
Niners go, great addition.
I think their first round pick. There's a lot of rumor of them trying to go after. I can't remember how to say this guy's name correctly from UCLA. Luate or something. I can't. He's a
Yes,
Hawaiian
I know
guy.
who you're
You
talking
might.
about. Mm-hmm. I know.
Okay,
I
there's
don't
talk
remember
of them
his
trying
name
to.
either.
But there's talk of them trying to possibly draft him. So having him come in as a young guy, and the Rams, they're looking. If you look at their draft history, even if they haven't had a first round pick for a while, they tend to hit on a lot of their draft picks. So they obviously trust themselves to get a younger option and even a younger age guy to come in and let Floyd walk away. Now they didn't think he was going to go to the Niners, but you take that chance when you let guys walk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, damn, out of all the freaking teams to go to, that's the one you went to. You son of a bitch, bro.
Right?
Come on, come on.
Help us out.
Jeez, dude, come on. But yeah, I like it too. We'll see. We shall see. We got a couple more here. Both of them actually the running back position. This was
Dude, so
mentioned
much
actually.
running back movement.
Dude, right? Like you said, man, there was no running back talk. Everybody hated running backs last year. Now everybody needs one. So it's weird. But when we mentioned Saquon going to Philly, that leaves a vacancy in New York. Devin Singletary, undisclosed contract for now, signs with the Giants. He played in Houston last year, was a decent back, actually. I would choose Joe Mixon over him. Health not a factor. I don't know if one's healthier than the other, but talent-wise, I would choose Joe Mixon. Singletary lands with the Giants to replace Saquon. They got big shoes to fill, or big quads to fill, right?
Absolutely, but I better hope he got some money because, again, we talked about how bad that offensive line is. He's going to be running for his life or getting beat up back there. So I hope you got some money out of it, sir.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, the details haven't quite been released yet, but good luck. Good luck. Last one. You want to run it out for us, bro?
Yeah, this one actually came a little surprising. So we didn't see the Packers. Obviously, we talked about them in our last episode, talking about how they signed Josh Jacobs. Didn't really see that happening because you figured, well, they have Aaron Jones. He's doing so well the last few years. But again, cheaper option. They let him walk because he wanted more money. And he ends up signing with Minnesota. So he stays within the division. And if they still had Kirk Cousins, I would be more excited about this. But again, without Kirk Cousins at quarterback and what the hell Minnesota's doing there, I don't really know how this is going to pan out for Aaron Jones, but they do have the wide receiver weapons with Jefferson and Addison Reed. So maybe he'll be okay and he'll still have a good year, but it all comes down to whoever they put at quarterback and how they're going to utilize him in that system.
Yeah, I like Aaron Jones as a running back. I think he did great in Green Bay. I don't know what he was asking for. He only took $7 million, and Green Bay gave Josh Jacobs 12. So I'm not quite sure what he was, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's weird that he took such a small contract to go to a team where I don't feel like he has a lot of chance to shine. But maybe he feels like I know they dropped Alexander Madison, so he's basically the only running back in the room that they have. Maybe he just feels like he's going to get a ton of touches and be able to prove himself again to try to get another deal at the end of next year. $7 million bucks ain't that much, man.
It's not, and I got to think part of it too is if you're the Packers, I would assume, you look at it. Jacobs is a little bit younger and a little less wear and tear on him, and again, injuries have been a problem for Jones, and especially last year. I think missing like 6 games, so they probably look at it that way. And again, if you're Minnesota, you need somebody to run the ball, and having an in-division opponent come in does help you get a little intel on them and what they think and how they look at you as a defense. So it's a kind of a win-win at that point.
Agree. I think it's a great way to kind of round that out, my friend. That covers the category 1 or the dangerous storms that have been kind of going on in this NFL free agency. We're going to wrap it up as we did the previous 2. If you didn't, make sure you go check those out. We've got category 3. That one is devastating. And we've got category 5 as catastrophic. The major moves. Make sure you go check those out as well. Let's jump into what we feel, though, custom to each episode. We're going to pick one player that we feel is going to have the most impact from each of these categories. And for category 1, dangerous, who is your biggest impact?
Well, this might be a little biased because it's my team, but I think Tony Pollard. going to Tennessee is going to be a big thing. Again, I think Levis as a young quarterback in his second year, if they can draft an offensive lineman with the number 9 overall pick, I think they have, and continue to build that line to protect him, it gives him 2 running backs and options, and then they can do some play action and kind of go from there. And again, a new offensive coordinator, new system. I don't really know how they're going to go about it, but I'm excited because, again, coming from the tree of Sean McVay in a sense, by coming from Cincinnati and Zach
True.
Taylor, I think there's going to be an improvement there. Titans are in a long, I think, 2 or 3 year rebuild here in a sense, but hopefully they can improve on the offensive side because the last 2 years have been a struggle to watch.
Maybe you do shore up that offensive line, and Will Levis can surprise you. Maybe you get a little bit of an
That's what I'm
early
hoping.
run, like a C.J. Stroud or like a Houston. Maybe not that high of a, but maybe you're like, oh, we're actually competing for like something.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to go in like 7 wins and then be stuck with like a 13, 14 draft pick next year either. Like either we improve and have a chance at a playoff a wild card spot, or we completely fall apart and get a top 5 pick next year and get more things to continue to build.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to run with a little bit different. This one is going to be a re-signing, and I think the re-signing of offensive guard Landon Dickerson by Philly is going to be the most impactful. We talked about how that line is one of the best in the league, and getting one of the best players of that line while simultaneously losing Jason Kelce is tough. You're bringing back one of the best guards in the NFL. Not only are you adding Saquon, but I bet you Saquon's happy that he's got one of the best guards coming back as well. I think this offense will be humming as long as everybody is healthy, and as long as that Jason Kelce loss is not as impactful as we may think. The Eagles should be pretty good, and Landon Dickerson makes them so.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
All right. Well, that wraps up category 1, the dangerous one. Make sure you do, like I said, go check out the other ones. We have all of them. Check out the rest of our NFL free agency series and see how the flurry of moves made an impact on each team and our 2024 forecast on how these moves will pan out. Thank you, as always, for seeing these from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.